Welcome, everybody, to the CrossFire podcast, where I had to just take the troops and hush them up because they were doing a whole show without you guys. You know, we were doing a whole show without the audience. I'm like, guys, they're outside. We have to reveal the curtain. All right, let's get this show going. Right, we got the one and only Mr. 7 o'clock himself, Crap Gamer. Crap, welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing tonight?
What's up, man? Happy to be here. We got some cool stuff to talk about. It's always good. Third day in a row we podcast. But it feels just like the first time. That's what they say. So.
It really does, Crap. It's like riding a bike. It's great.
It is.
It really is fantastic.
Exactly.
I'll go right down the line here. I've got Senor Boombastic, Senor himself. Boom, you must be exhausted, but you run on Duracells. How you doing tonight, man?
Oh, listen, when you send out the topics list, I immediately responded first by I could not wait to get into today's show because there's literally so much to talk about.
This show wouldn't happen as well as it happens, Boom, if it wasn't for that. I actually sit there and wait for your respond back in the DMs. It gets me motivated to get back out there. I love it, buddy. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
You got it, Boom. You got it. And then I got Xbot448, who I want you guys to know took time from his busy life and destiny for you folks. For you. Thank you, Xbot. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I could get court-martialed from the Queen because I do have a duty right now with the raid being open, but I can't miss Crossfire, man. You know that.
Listen, Xbot, wouldn't be the same without you, brother. It's good to have you here. And speaking of not the same without, a man from many time zones over, Alan Walsh, who's going to have the spotlight all over him. It's Forza time, folks. Alan, welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Honestly, it's been such a crazy week, but you know, what a great way to end it by coming on Crossfire. I was on Boom's show earlier today with some fantastic discussions, and I'm ready to continue them here. Should be a good episode.
Very cool, very cool. And a man that I'm going to put under the hot seat and ask him the hard questions that some people just won't do, but he's here to answer them for you. You know him as the Don. Don, welcome back to the show, buddy. It's good to have you.
That ring.
I've got to book Don 3 months in advance, so this is like harder than getting. This was harder than getting Phil. Don, welcome back, buddy. How are you?
Don't say that. Then that puts me in the hot seat. So what do you say about Phil and Don? And it's nothing like that.
That's true.
but yeah, I'm always glad to make it. I always like to show up as many podcasts as I can. But you know, work and being busy, that's a thing. And I'm on vacation, and I don't know how to take vacation, so I'm here. So let's do this. At
some point, we're gonna get into that vacation talk because I caught Don literally streaming at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon New York time, and I'm like, what the hell's he doing? He's supposed to be at work. But I go, all right, Don, we'll get into that later. But our special guest, and I am very excited to have him back. We are also excited, right? I Am Zoot is back. He's back with a new microphone. He's going to sound better than ever, and he's got more opinions than you guys can even handle. Zoot, welcome back to the show. How are you, brother?
Hey, thanks. I'm good. And I can already tell the show hasn't started yet, but I'm really bringing down the mood in this podcast right now.
So great. Zoot, you're the best, buddy. You really are. Let's go like this. All right, and I will start with Zoot as our guest. You know, I'm not sure if you're a fan of it or not, but I don't want to get to the common topics. I want to talk about Blackout. Everyone's talking about it. People are saying, we even have the gentleman from the NPD coming out and saying that FortNite is kind of halted. It hasn't increased in sales anymore. This is a chance for maybe Call of Duty to take a bite out of that. I'm excited about Blackout. I think it's a lot of fun in the Battle Royale realm. Zoot, what's your take on Battle Royale as a whole, and does Blackout stand the chance from what you hear?
I hate it. No.
That's great. Thank you, Zoot. Good night, everybody. It's been fantastic. Enjoy your games.
But Fortnite, you saying Fortnite is slowing down in sales is like saying Apple, stopped selling an extra phone last year. It's not going to hurt them.
True.
There are kids that are getting teachers sent to them to teach them how to play Fortnite. You don't hear that about Black Ops.
No.
For Black Ops, I actually never played any of the Black Ops. I stopped playing Call of Duty after Ghost because it was so terrible.
Yep.
But with the Battle Royale, I am actually very interested in that. I didn't like Fortnite. I'm probably not going to like Black Ops, but I am willing to try it.
Well, listen, I think that's the thing when it comes down to it, Zoot, is I feel the same way. I kind of had an absence with Call of Duty. I left it for quite some time. I just wasn't in the mood. It got very redundant. It got stale. Me and Crap have an ongoing joke. I personally didn't even like the single players. I thought those were literally on rails. And for the first time, I saw that Call of Duty said, okay, look, and we realized that they probably messed up. We think that, Treyarch, we'll find out when one of them writes a book in a few years. but Treyarch messed up. They messed up their single player. They reverted all their attention to making this Blackout Battle Royale something super special. And the thing about it is, you're probably going, well, Mooch, listen, I've played it. What the hell's so super special about it? And, panel, feel free to jump in here. My thing on it is this. I think that this game takes just the right amount of FortNite and just the right amount of PUBG, and wham, you've got Blackout. Now,
Mooch, I got news for you.
Go ahead.
I'm coming around.
You are coming around. I'm telling you.
Coming around live on the air.
Yes.
Mother effers. I could care less about anything else on Black Ops 4. Could care less. I saw this Blackout mode and I said, I better win this because they're not getting my money. I mean, I want to buy it. I want to buy it. Just there are too many games. So what I'm hoping for is that I'm in like at least 15 contests. I win one of these things because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't play PUBG and I don't like FortNite, but I do like Call of Duty. And this mode looks like it's going to be what? Hashtag fun.
Yes. Thank you. Finally.
Mooch, I had to say it live on the air for you. I saved it for you that I'm coming around.
Shout out to Antonio in the chat. He goes, mother effers, to just quote you. Because, Boom, he runs a G-rated show. And you know what? We need that, Boom. I'm not busting chops. I think that's fantastic that you do that. Somebody's got to have a clean show. Certainly not this one.
Hey, listen, I'm still a part of it, and I'm honored.
It's funny. Noof Nukem, shout out to him. He says, my wallet has a Blackout. Go ahead,
Xbox. Besides it being Battle Royale, why are we comparing the Call of Duty, which you're going to buy a game,
right,
and it's going to have that feature, to FortNite, which anybody can just download the Battle Royale anywhere? It's free. I don't understand how
you're comparing apples and oranges numbers, right? Like
exactly, man.
FortNite's based on microtransaction, which, just so you know, incredibly far up from the last season there are. I think is double or triple what they were bringing in last season.
Yeah, it's going to bring a buttload of money, man.
So, FortNite is not slowing down. It's actually picking up steam, regardless of the active users is maybe not picking up as much steam as it was. Like the microtransactions are pretty high.
But it's leveling off. They're not going to like it as far as users go.
But that's the thing. But the business model is based on microtransactions.
Yeah, until after Christmas, and then people will be like, "Oh shit, I can download that for free on my brand new console that my parents got me," and now a whole new people are coming in and downloading it and playing it again.
Well, the Black Ops business model is different, right? They're selling you a game up front, so that's how they're making their money. So they're making their monies differently. So it's hard to really kind of compare those two. I would say it's more fair to compare Call of Duty to previous Call of Duties, and it seems to be up from previous Call of Duties. Am I incorrect on that?
No, I'm not sure. I don't know what the numbers are.
I want to say it's definitely up from last year. At least that's what I've heard through the grapevine.
People who like a story better not hope it's up like compared to previous years, man.
I hate to say it, but it seems like it might be.
Oh damn!
So I mean, for whatever that's worth. So.
Crap, what about you? I hear you're coming around. That's the word on the street.
Well, I mooched a code. So I do got that going for me. I'm downloading it. It might be done right now. We'll have to see how that goes. Shout out to Mizzle Shizzle, who hooked me up with the code.
Nice.
At first, he's like, "Here you go, man. Here's the code." I entered it. I was like, "This is already redeemed." I was like, "Damn, dude, hook me up with a used code. Come on." And he's like, "Oh, hold on." He's like, "I got another one." So then he hooked me up with a code that actually worked, and I was like, "Cool." So I'm actually looking forward to trying it out. There's a lot of buzz around it, like surprising. But here's the thing: I'm very interested because I like PUBG, and PUBG feels like a very small game, right? Because the developers and things like that. I would be very much interested in a larger AAA version of that.
Yes.
And I think that maybe what the just to be clear, I have zero interest in the in the zombies or the regular multiplayer in this game, right? With the superpowers and all that shit. I don't care about any of that stuff. The Blackout mode is what seems interesting to me. And just specifically, I heard it's like PUBG, but first person and 60 frames per second. That piques my interest. To me, that'd be worth,
Well,
something
see,
by
crap.
itself.
I can see.
I
where
wish
you're
they'd
coming
sell that
from,
by
man.
itself. You know.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that, but there, the majority of people out there that are going to pick up the game, they're going to go into each and every one of them, which is why I said, I'm like, for people who like stories, I know they said that, next year's Call of Duty is going to come with a story, but if this makes an impact that's bigger than the previous Call of Duties, that last year's 2 years ago or whatever, they're gonna think about it, man.
You have to remember that Black Ops carries a big name. If this was Joe Bob Duty, the first one in a new thing,
I want to play that game.
Yeah,
Joe Bob Duty.
Yeah, or if it was like Ghosts 2, right? There was no way that people would be down for this. You know what I mean? I think the fact that it's specifically Black Ops 4 or whatever.
Crap, Toasty in the chat says, what happens when the honeymoon's over with Blackout? I don't think with Battle Royale a situation comes up where the honeymoon's over. If the honeymoon was over, FortNite, I mean, dressing up as different costumes and that are doing as that would have been over like months ago, right? So I don't really feel like this is a honeymoon type of thing.
I know exactly.
I was gonna let you keep going until literally.
No, I know. Listen, I was gonna wear myself out, but listen, it's one of those things. I don't think that I would go and just everybody else would just go and play this nonstop. There's a ton of other things to go. You just go back. And you know what I mean? You feel like playing a game. And
that's what I think makes this Call of Duty something that listen, this is another stacked holiday, right? Red Dead Redemption. You've got, if you like Battlefield, you got your Call of Duty, you got Forza. People are still going to be playing Spider-Man. People are going to be playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider. There's a lot of games. So my whole point,
2 of those games. I only have 2 of those games.
Well, most of those haven't come out yet.
Play, man.
But I mean, my whole point is that, you're playing Shadow and you're going through it. Maybe you're trying to complete it. Or maybe you're trying to complete Spider-Man. Or maybe you're trying to do this or that. Or Red Dead's going to take up the majority of your life anyway. And you're like, I've been doing this for about 20 days straight. Call of Duty Blackout gives you an opportunity to pick up the controller, play a game for 25 minutes or 30 minutes, the way COD used to be. COD used to feel like that, and it just got really stale playing team deathmatch or domination. That got really old and stale, and that's why that all really kind of just fell by the wayside. And now you have Battle Royale, which was a refreshing treat for a lot of console gamers when it came in the form of PUBG. But PUBG had so many things wrong with it. The rubber banding being number one. Rubber banding was the number one thing that I thought, you got to get this thing fixed quick. And let's be honest, we played
rubber banding has been gone for months now, though, man.
That's not what I'm talking about. With the 4 months we had to deal with it, that was too damn long. That was too damn long.
I hear what you're saying about the refreshing, but to me, I feel like the refreshing is the first couple kind of like games that do it, and then afterwards it's just people trying to copy it, man.
Xbot. Here's let me put it in different words. Let me see if you'll pick up with this. What I'm putting down here. The same way mobile gaming is massive as far as monetary goes, right? We don't have anything necessarily that we talk about. Any game where you just pick it up and play it for 30 minutes and then put the controller down or stop or go to a different game. The games like even Destiny, everything we're doing, like Destiny or
no, Destiny's a job, man.
It's a job, right? That's my point. This is a game. The only other game that ever came close to this for me is this type of game in a battle royale or like Trials Fusion.
Well, fighting games are like that, man. Like Injustice 2.
I think that's become quite a niche area, but that's a me problem. I don't like
but
those games.
It still kind of caters to what
you
you're
say
saying.
that, but I got to find somebody to play, right? I mean, or is it just matchmaking the same way? You can just play random dude number 80?
I remember back in the day playing the first Mortal Kombat's, Street Fighter 2s and stuff like that. I mean, I would go
but
up
see, if I play solo,
if
if I play solo in Battle Royale, I feel like I accomplished something after I defeated 99 other players, okay? When I just randomly play somebody who probably just is punching their controller and I'm Superman and he's Batman, I don't get done and go, yes, whoever that is, yeah, whoever you are.
Here's the deal. At the end of the day, Call of Duty is Call of Duty. The name is going to sell the game, all right? The hardcore out there, like crap, they did something like taking that story out, which kind of, it shook that hardcore base. Now, you might be interested in this, but I don't think it's that refreshing thing anymore. I think Battle Royale is now just Battle Royale. I think FortNite does great because it's free. And let's be honest, I'm going to say it again.
They have a zombie mode Blackout. They have another type of thing in Black. They have like they have game modes that are really like I said this a long time ago. I got to find the clip. I said what would be great for PUBG is if that big open area, when you're just in the Jeep and you're just kind of going across like these empty, like just like patches of farmland. Like, it'd be great if there were just zombies around. You might go, well, that doesn't matter. You can just drive right by them. Yeah, but not when the circle closes around that, or you're trying to hide in somewhere in a zombie. They have zombie mode. I think that's great because now you shoot, it gives away your position. There's fun. There's fun types of battle royale.
I believe they are testing a zombie mode for that game. I mean,
for what?
For PUBG.
Great. You know, PUBG should have been called, instead of PUBG Players Underground, what is it there? Battleground. It should have been called a day late and a dollar short. That's what they should have called that game.
Dude, all right. I understand they made money quickly, right? I understand that. But these dev teams and this publisher that have a hold of Call of Duty, let's be honest here. For years, they have been making money hand over fist. Yes. And you got Bluehole that's just getting into it. I mean, I don't think we can expect the same things from Bluehole as people would expect from Activision or the developers doing Call of Duty either. To be really honest with you.
I would hope not.
No, there's no way.
To be totally honest with you, right? Like, you know, I'm only as good as the team I work with. You know, I can put 110% effort with any team, but if the team is just not experienced, or we're not as coordinated together, or we don't have the financial means or the tools or the equipment to get things done, then that's going to result in a product that's not as polished. That's just how it really breaks down. So, you know, I expect a polished experience from Activision.
You expect a AAA experience.
Sure, like, absolutely. I think there's a lot more pressure on Activision to get this right, because
I agree.
You are taking something away that some people are attached to. I consider myself more of a casual Call of Duty player. I don't play any of the multiplayer. I'm only the campaign guy. Once I'm done with the campaign, I hang it up. I don't boot it up again.
Yep.
So I feel bad that you've spent $60 for that 8 hours of crap.
I enjoy the campaign. There's not very many good campaigns out there these days, and so, you know, Call of Duty is one of those ones. It's like a.
What do you mean there isn't a great Don? You can't say that, Don. We've got two of the greatest games of your existence. You wouldn't even be born yet if it wasn't for God of War and Spider-Man.
No. Hey, God of War is damn good, but let's just
go ahead, Crab. But you get what I'm saying. Like, Call of Duty is one of those things you can always count on once a year. Yeah. And if you like the campaign, you play the campaign. Other people play multiplayer. I think what this particular mode appeals to is these Call of Duty players they love the multiplayer. That's who they are. They never boot up the campaign. And I mean, I think you expressed that a lot there, Mooch, that, you know, who cares about the campaign because you want to play the multiplayer. And I think with those people, this mode really appeals to it, because now we're thinking, oh, great, it's going to be a polished experience. I know how Call of Duty plays and behaves. I'm really attached to that. And let's be honest, the multiplayer on Call of Duty has been more of the same for a long period of time, and we're starving for something fresh in that multiplayer space that people love COD. So, you know, they may be the right move. As I said, I think the sales numbers are up from the previous year, so it may have been the right move. And I hate to admit that, because that's not the part of Call of Duty I personally enjoy.
And I appreciate that, Don. And to be honest with you, you make a good point. But I want to turn just because I think he's got the other side of the coin. Alan, weren't you telling me that you might try Call of Duty this time?
Yeah, no. There's actually a lot of things about Black Ops 4 I like. Like, I played the multiplayer beta they did about a month or so ago, and I actually thought it was really fluid. I liked it quite a lot. And Blackout, I've played a bit of that today, and I quite like it as well. I think I'll definitely pick up Black Ops 4 this year, even though there isn't a campaign. And normally I would like the campaign as well, but
is it true that it has HDR, Alan?
It looks really good on my TV.
Right on the box.
HDR. So I'm quite happy about that.
Nice. Yeah, me too, man. I like to be honest with you, like I said, the rest of that stuff doesn't interest me, but the Blackout stuff interests me tremendously.
Well, so do you see the point I'm trying to make? That, like, I'm not going to say, I mean, listen, literally, if Don feels that way and you feel that way about the single player and I feel the way I feel about the single player, that's something that we're all not going to change our opinions on. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't think it's really going to affect next year's, because supposedly they're already doing that. There was a lot of pullback from that. And look, like I said, Black Ops has a name to it. So I'm sure there's probably some people that don't even realize that this doesn't have a campaign yet.
Right.
And when they get it, will realize that and be like, damn, that sucks. You know what I mean? So I do think that next year's we will see, because that's what makes these games what they are.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you could just update them with new maps and stuff if you're just gonna go half-ass it with some, you know what I mean? Like to me, the standard stuff just plays like Black Ops, you know, like Black Ops is a story, you know.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare, it's a story. Like, how can you even have Modern Warfare if you're not following that story? Like, I'm heavily invested. I like it, you know. I like the little Michael Bay shit, you know. That to me is very, very fun. You know, you get your 6 hours in, you get, you know what I'm saying? Like, you learn how to use the weapons and what weapons you're going to use, and it's a good precursor. Everybody knows me. Like, back in the day, when the Call of Duty games would drop, I'd go to the midnight launch, pick it up, come home, play, start the campaign, right? And then the next day I'd jump into the multiplayer. Like, I love doing that, you know? So it does suck that they aren't going to be able to.
I enjoy hearing that story that you tell, because I literally did the opposite. I mean, same thing. Went out there, midnight release, grabbed it. A bunch of our friends, we all had fun, went back, and we immediately ran to the multiplayer, because everybody with us in our group, it was the opposite. We like prestiging back in the day was a big shit. Yeah. Like, it was just like 3 days in. It was like, I knew some people like 3 days in would already be like 2 prestige. I'm like, damn it. Yeah. Let's keep in mind the era there, you know, we're talking about college years, like plenty of time. But I'm saying, like, that's the thing about this game that I thought we all lost, because I think maybe a little bit of too much time was going into the single player, and it's an 8-hour experience at best. And, you know, and it was over. And then it was like, okay, great. Thanks for giving us Team Deathmatch 8 years in a row. That's really, thank you. You know, and now we got a game mode again, which has gotten a little long in the tooth for some people, and I get that. I'm not rebranding Battle Royale for anybody. If you guys don't like it, it's not going to talk to you. You know, a couple people in the chat were like, thanks, Mooch, you saved me $60. And I'm like, well, if it saved you $60, can I at least get 30 of it? But nonetheless, okay, I digress. I do think that it's a fun game that you can pick up and play while you're waiting for another buddy to come down and play a different game or this and that. Shout out to Lady Foxfire. She said, I'm not in the Battle Royale games, and Blackout does look good, but I'm still getting Battlefield 5 for the multiplayer and single player. Hit that like button, chat.
Hit the
Lady
like
Foxfire,
button.
I can't say thank you enough. Also, guys, tweet out the link. Guys, you don't understand. The chat is powerful. You are powerful. Hit that chat, but hit the damn like button or something.
Does anybody else notice? Because I watched the thing because I'm watching the chat. It's hashtag Mooch above the Crossfire podcast. Is that new?
I just saw that too. I didn't put that there. So
I know, it's like hashtag Mooch.
Hashtag mooching.
I can remember earlier this year, Mooch was trending. I was like, what the hell? And
right.
It was a different.
It was
Mooch,
the other Mooch.
Yeah, but it's still funny.
It's the same, but different.
But still the same.
Kind of the same. Not really the same. Thank you, Foxy.
We're both New Yorkers.
Yeah, we are. We probably talk too loud too.
Yeah,
but nonetheless,
yelling all the time,
I don't know. I know. Zoot's probably, his ears are probably shot already. I apologize.
Have big nostrils.
Not this one. But thank you. I think you might be onto something. Hey, speaking of Mooch, I want to give a shout out real quick. So we're gonna go on to Shadow of the Tomb Raider. They're in the chat right now. Sneaky Memos in the chat. Okay, I put their in the description, guys. Check out Sneaky Memo. Check out Last Respawn. You can click on that. Check out their channels. They stream. They do a lot of gaming. They hooked Mooch up with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Huge thank you to those guys for giving me the opportunity to review the game. I thank you, thank you, thank you. Please do check them out. They are in the description. Sneaky Memo, you are the man. Thank you very much. The man keeps his word, by the way. Outstanding. You don't find that this.
He's the guy that gifted me Nier.
Yes, but I already had Nier, so he goes, Mooch, I got you in the future. And I said, you know, I actually wrote him a week ago. I go, it's kind of the future. He goes, all right, what do you want? So, Sneaky, you're great, and you're a man of your word, which you can't find in 2018. Thank you.
Very cool stuff. He actually, you know,
what you got, Zoot?
But you have another podcast that supports your family, because it sounds like you got your game life already handled.
Yes, I do. I'm actually thinking of doing one like that. It's going to be called Keeping the Lights On with Mooch. It's going to be on every night at 6 p.m.
It's easy, Mooch. Just stop buying so many damn iPhones and you'd have more money.
Oh, you know, now listen, crap. I would love to do an iPhone piece, just me versus you on that. It would be a lot of fun.
Oh, that reminds me of the last M&C mornings or evenings.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Mooch was talking about iPhone. It was great.
It was great.
It's like, why are we talking about iPhone?
I even went back later on that night, Helen, and listened to that bit. It was great.
Yeah, iPhones, man. I don't know.
You says mooching is definitely an art form. You know, Stu, thank you for recognizing. You know, it takes a little bit.
It's taken off in the community, to be honest with you.
Well, the hashtag has.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, I mean,
Anyway.
You're not getting a dime out of that, Mooch. I'm sorry to tell you.
What's that? Boom.
Yeah, hashtag mooching should have been every time someone says it, you get a penny.
I think, you know, Jeremy Downer once told me to do that.
Yeah.
Really should,
Also, Mooch was the one. He was always saying that's a you problem, and now that's like a
that's everywhere.
Nostalgia is a hell of a drug. I mean, you're
Yes.
missing your mark for the T-shirt market,
That's
brother.
all right. As long as you guys
That's
know
all
where it came
That's right. Oh, Snaps walks around the house. The Don, yeah, she goes, it's all part of the experience. So, yeah.
Don. I hope you work that into your game, Don.
good news, guys. Noof Nukem brought back his extra Spider-Man PS4 Pro. So he's actually working the stock market a little bit better this time around. So that's good to know. Yeah.
Wait, he did not bring it back.
No, he brought back the second one.
The second
remember,
one,
yeah, he accidentally got two.
That's right.
And he didn't need to. So
no, I recommend everybody keep your consoles unless you get a tremendous payback.
Tremendous.
Yes. Let's talk about this though, Crap. You have not stopped. I have not seen you tweet out. You're like Van Gogh on Twitter.
Yes.
I haven't seen this many pictures come out of you yet. What's going on with these Shadow of the Tomb Raider spots?
They got a contest going on.
Oh,
so
do they?
You tweet out, yeah, they do. You tweet
What
out.
do you win?
I forget what it is. But
Probably the game you own. Go ahead.
No. You win something big. But the thing is, they made it easier to tweet out stuff off Xbox.
Yes.
Like you don't have to, and it just posts it right to Twitter now. So I'm gonna start doing that more often, right? Okay. And for multiple reasons. First, that game is gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Second, to counteract the Spider-Man ones a little bit, you know what I mean? So I noticed a lot of people were now tweeting the Tomb Raider ones. And I like to be a little bit funny, so some of those were just like kind of funny little captions or whatever. And I just have a good time with it. Like I like that game. I think it's amazing. Plus that, what's cool about the Xbox one? I'm not sure you can do this on PS4 or not, but you can actually post those pictures with HDR on them. HDR. Like I didn't even realize that. It's badass. It's like turn HDR on and then share it. Yeah, why not?
That's for all games that support HDR on One X and One S. And anyone can view them with a HDR screen. It's pretty fantastic. And that's only on Xbox. I believe on the PS4 side, it's just limited to 1080p.
Well, I mean, let me say, I will say this much. Don't get me wrong. It's great, right? It's not great. It's not great, But think about it though, guys. I do want to say this much: most phones are not HDR, and you're posting it to Twitter, so people aren't watching Twitter on TV.
Well, no,
where are they actually seeing it?
It does. I think it does change something a little bit.
Yeah, it changes it when you post it on Twitter. It converts it back to SDR when you post it on Twitter, but on Xbox Live, you can view it in HDR on your console.
Yeah.
Well, let me shout out to Space Cat who says, keep up the great Mooch, loving Blackout. Absolutely, Space Cat. I bet you're kicking ass.
Hey, Mooch, hey, crap.
Hey, he's great.
What do you think about this? Okay.
Speaking of that, Zoot, let me ask you, Zoot, are you reviewing or playing Shadow, or did you play Shadow?
No.
Not at all?
No, next question.
I love it. I love Zoot. I am Zoot. You should just answer in that, and I'm like, hey, the language, Zoot.
Next question.
Next question, please. Well, I don't know. Crap has done so much publication for this game. I don't know who else is even playing
Somebody
it.
has to. Everybody's playing it. Foxy's playing it. Dealer Gaming's playing it.
Yeah.
Yes, Dealer is.
I saw Major Nelson playing it. Everybody, like a ton of people on my
in between his Overwatch, episodes or whatever he's doing there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So a lot of people are playing it, and as right they should. It's a fine conclusion to that story. I'm not going to give it away any spoilers. Don't worry, guys. But realistically, they really go deeper into the story, her past.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on, the mysteries and this kind of stuff. So I absolutely love it. I think it's the perfect way to kind of complete her evolution as a character.
Okay.
And man, just fantastic job. And what they've done is really evolutionize not only her character as a person and attitude and things like that.
Yeah.
But they did that with the game with that stealth mechanic where you mud yourself up and pull a predator, right?
It's like one of the first stealth mechanics in a long time that feels good.
Yes, and it was so. I'm like, I was like, it's about time they put that. When Schwarzenegger muds himself up,
yes,
and he opened it. That's what she does, and I'm like, oh my god, that was badass. And I'm just having fun now. She can also rappel down, like how she normally would like use the pickaxes and stuff, but now she can also rappel down from higher places. And man, just the simple things that they've done and the mechanics and some of the tweaks and stuff like that feels really, really good. I like what they've done with it. They put more of a companion thing in there with what's his name? I forget. Jonah. That's his name. Thank you. Thank you, Johnny P. Yeah. So anyway, no problem. So anyway, yeah. Basically, yeah. So they do a really good job with it. She's in constant like contact with them and stuff like that. So it's not so much of a lone thing. Because I know, like in Uncharted, that was one of the cool things. There's that little banter back and forth, like, wrecked him, damn near killed him. Oh, that's a crazy one, Sully. You bastard. You're old. You know, like that was part of the fun.
You're old.
That was part of the fun of Uncharted because they do that little stupid banter back and forth. So now they have a little bit of banter, and it's and I like it. I think it's really well done, and I just think it's probably one of my favorite games. And you get a little bit of hate from that because you say, hey, maybe this game should be in the running for something, and people are just like, put the clamp on him. He's not allowed to say that. He can't have that opinion. It's not an exclusive PlayStation game. Don't say it, right?
Man, it's a good game. Like, first 3 seconds into the game, it got me.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's what I'm saying.
Before you see anything on the screen, it sucked me in.
And tell people why.
I'm not going to. Like,
right.
People don't boot it up, and I want them to enjoy it for themselves.
Because I'm right there with you. Like, it really does literally grab you from the minute the title starts, and that is powerful. And I got to tell you, and I agree, Crap and I, we don't always agree, but I'm going to have to jump on his bandwagon and say, if you're playing it on the X with HDR, it is
HDR.
Stunning.
HDR.
Oh, that's right. HDR. It's stunning to look at. I mean, it is really incredible. And I really encourage everyone, if you have the spare money or hashtag mooching, get a copy of this game. It deserves all the fans to purchase it and support this company. I don't care if it's for the PC or the Xbox or the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, play it.
So play this game, please.
See, people always act like because I'm hyping the game up that I'm acting like it's an exclusive. No, like I encourage people to play it on wherever they can play it.
Yep.
It is a phenomenal game. It's really well done.
Well, let's do this though. Crap. The one thing we always say is it is a talk show. We got to talk about everything. What are some of the things that are kind of bugging you about the game?
Bugging me about the game.
Just it doesn't even have to be major, but I mean, it's got to be something where you go, I just kind of this isn't working out for me on this part.
That's gonna be a tough question to answer. I don't even know.
That is, to be honest with you, because there's nothing that's annoyed me. I haven't had any glitches. I haven't had any kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
They explain the stuff to you really well. Like they refresh you on what's going on.
So I mean, the water splashes.
The water splashes seem fixed to me. I don't.
That was a doctrine video. I think just looking to get attention.
That could have been before a day one patch or whatever. Like, who knows? But to me, and actually,
the splashes never looked that great in that game anyway. It was everything else around it.
But to be honest, for her to be able, the underwater stuff is really fun.
Yeah,
like it looks gorgeous. Like that's new too. Like before she would go a little bit. Now she's like full on Aquawoman sometimes. You know what I mean?
Well, what they do really well in the game, and not very many games do this well, is when you go from like the cutscene, right? Like where you're telling the story's being told, and you go to the game in that transition. Some games, like, they make a really smooth transition, but it doesn't feel sometimes natural when you take control. You're like, oh, I take control now. Like you forget. This one, you kind of you just automatically know. You assume exactly when you're taking control, and when it cuts into the things, and it has that very seamless feel. And so it just, I don't know, everything about it. I think I'm only like 7% into it, so I haven't got really, really far into it. But what I like is they introduce you to the new mechanics quite well early on. Like, they show you the mechanics, but they don't treat you like an idiot. Does that make sense? Where some games kind of almost antagonize the player. They draw you in with the new mechanics, and then the mechanics that existed before, they kind of don't bother with teaching you that stuff. So if you play the other Tomb Raiders, I think it's going to be a very natural progression.
Yeah.
I would say the only criticism I could say, which I'm glad they did it this way, but I can see other people having a problem. If you haven't walked into previous Tomb Raiders and you go into this one, some of the things may not come in intuitively. You'll figure it out, right? But I would say the only thing I can find out that's really been an issue about it so far. But man, I like it better than the second one by a long shot already.
A lot of people in the chat know Assassin. He's on Four Guys with Quarters, and he put a tweet out about 3 hours ago, and I got it. I kind of get it. It was my issue with Rise of the Tomb Raider. He said, I would enjoy Shadow of the Tomb Raider so much more if there wasn't these towns full of people, a billion different types of collectibles, and these stupid challenges. And I know Crap could have a quick rebuttal and be like, well, I don't pay attention to those things. That's not how I play the game. And for Crap, I say, kudos to you, man. That is awesome that he can actually look past that. But those are one of the things that bother me when I look on the map and I click on the select button and you can actually see all the collectibles, all the caches, all this and that. I feel like I don't want to leave that area until I've done a good chunk of it, and it gets cumbersome. It gets a little. So I understand that. So maybe that's just a me and Assassin thing. Don, do you see where? I haven't
got into that part yet, where it opens up. Everything has been kind of linear to this point.
Okay.
So and I find that enjoyable. I don't mind open world games, but we get so much of that, and a lot of it just doesn't have. But
Rise did it too.
Out there.
Rise did it too. With there was the tombs, there was the caches, there was the collectibles, there was so many things all over the place. There was the recordings. There's so much to it, and sometimes. This is what me and Crap were going back and forth about with last night, and I think I got my point across. I'm not necessarily sure I sold crap on it. Was I just felt like between the recordings and the collectibles and the caches and the 50 million things you can buy, and in this one now you can get things and then sell them and get other items, and there's so much of that the story kind of gets lost sometimes.
You don't even have to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, but that's
you can always go back.
Yeah, no one's going back.
I did. Well, actually,
no.
I was when I beat the original Tomb Raider in 2000. I did.
I'm sure you did, but most people don't. That's fine.
I'm just saying you can't but
you can do anything.
Well, here's the thing though. You're complaining about these things, these collectibles that you don't need to
get.
There's
a million of them. Why put them in there?
Why put them in Spider-Man?
Right. That's my next question for Don, but I didn't get there yet. Go ahead.
No, I mean I'm just saying you went and got all the collectibles and stuff out of the way first. Right. Spider-Man, right? Like for me, I'm not like going out of my way looking for any of this stuff in Tomb Raider. If I find it, I find it, but I'm mostly just going and progressing the story.
Yeah, I guess that may be it.
I playing it, finding piece by piece, the same way I play Spider-Man. I like the open world collectibles.
I think Spider-Man though
I saw shit right in front of me, and Spider-Man just was like, eh.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like I said, I think you have a super ability in gaming to ignore half the game. I don't know how you can do that. I can't.
Well,
it bothers me.
Game.
I agree, they're not. And I mean that's Don, maybe you
a lot of times that's just to give it replayability or to give it a reason to stay in the game longer. So
it's what they call a trap, Mooch. It's a trap.
Well, all right, well, and
drop.
No, it's a drop. Listen, I want
it really is.
Don, don't lose that. Let me just read this before it disappears. Yobi Dren, he says, great panel tonight. Question for the panel. For next generation games, what do you think devs can do differently to push the envelope for future games? Can we survive another gen of microtransactions? Yobi Dren, I'm actually copying and pasting that. I have a subject on that later on in the show that I want to get into. But right now, I don't want to deviate from this right here because we are about to find out from the dev himself. Don, why do you guys put this filler in? Stop it!
I mean, well, I'm not doing it.
Thank you.
But there are. I mean, development communities. I mean, studios, I should say, do it because they want to get people engaged with their game longer. Give them a reason to come back to the game. It originally started off not as the intention of everyone collecting things right off the bat, even though some gamers do that.
Right.
The original intention was to get people to come back to the game. So if they had fun with the game, they have additional stuff to do. Yes. Keeps the game more relevant in the community for longer than 6 months, and that's always kind of the hurdle that all games kind of have an issue with. Is the strongest sales in the first 6 months, and after that it kind of peters out. So by extending the sales longer, the idea is you're lowering the risk, and you're continuing to bring income in for what the studio has produced, and you're not just trying to do all this upfront cost for the next project they're working on. And that's the general idea of it. I think it's got a little out of hand. I think sometimes certain developers will use it as tropes to force gamers to have same sort of habits like you, Mooch, where they go, oh, there's a bunch of new stuff to unlock. I'm going to backtrack to the place I just went where I just came from. And so now I have to go back through the map, through that same area. So
yes,
I'm taking longer time.
Yes, so, and I feel like I don't progress.
And that's intentional. They do that is to keep you engaged longer. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't mind a good long experience, but I want it to be a fresh experience throughout the whole entire thing. I understand why certain game companies do that sort of stuff. I just don't. I feel like there's better ways to go about it, and I think some people just kind of use it as a trope.
I mean, Spider-Man definitely did it to crap. He's pointed it out. He's 100% right, and I think Tomb Raider does it even more than Spider-Man does it. It's like it's everywhere, and I
like it because of the lore. I mean, if you're into the game,
but there's no lore when you pick up that cachet and it goes ding ding, and you just like that little like X3 plus 2 comes up in the corner. Like that doesn't mean anything to me. Well, it doesn't do anything.
Well, I mean,
you don't have to find it. I mean, you don't have to pick it up.
You don't have to, but if you want to, increase your gear and do certain things and get certain weapons, you need those caches. So, I mean, technically, you don't have to find them. But for me, I would feel a little bit shortchanged simply because I want to max out every gun.
Right.
I want to find every variation of an outfit or a weapon. Again, like I said, for me personally, like Assassin's Creed Origins, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I'll put 100 hours into this game. God of War, I think easily 75 hours, possibly more, just trying to find all the little nooks and crannies and things. Again, maybe it's something wrong with me, and that's fine, but that's how I really enjoy playing these big open world games, even if they're not ginormous, because obviously God of War is contained. There's still a lot of searching to do, and I really, really like that. So again,
I didn't search for anything in God of War either. I love that game. Crap. I was like, I couldn't be bothered to go look for any of that crap. Ugh.
I don't know. I mean, Alan, let me ask you, Alan, because I want to get your take on this. I mean, and it doesn't matter if you're even talking about Shadow or Rise or any game that has these multi-collectible type of. Do you maybe I don't know. I don't think I have OCD. I don't think I feel like right. I feel like I can't. Like Don said it, and Don, if you guys are literally putting that in there, like there's a lot of gamers like me that like that's like if I said to you next time you go to get gas to fill up your car, you got to do like 10. You got to do 10 jumping jacks, or I'm not letting you pump it. It's like well, it's kind of ridiculous. It's like I put something. Let me put this out there, Don. Could you do this? Could you put something in the game that, yes, is still extra, so the craps of the world don't have to do it. Mm-hmm. Something in the game so that when I do collect all of them, I get something that crap would want?
What I would prefer is Easter eggs, hide things.
Easter eggs are okay, but that's like going to a Smithsonian or the Guggenheim.
Well, no.
It's like you stare at it for a minute and then you walk away. You're like, did you see what I saw? No, I didn't. Oh, you got to go to the top of the mountain. I'm not going to the top of the mountain.
But if you do it in a way that gives you a totally different experience, and then you have a conversation with, like, not just like some character dancing in a window or anything like that, right? But you have something that actually gives you some sort of like meaningfulness to the game that's different than someone else experienced, then you go back and play. What was that Sony like Telltale game that came out this last year?
Detroit.
Yeah, that's a perfect example where people played it and people wanted to go back to it because they had different results. And I think that's a better way of going about it.
Yes, agreed.
And then not every developer
the game changed
that way.
Yes, that's fine. And some games can't do that because that's a story-based game. But hear me out. Let's say all those caches, those things that really result in almost nothing, right? Or whatever. Yeah. There's a couple collectibles in Shadow that are they're useless. I mean, I think what you get out of it is an achievement or a trophy. But if I had something where I got like a bow, if I got all those like 150 of those ridiculous things to collect, I guarantee you if I had one that all of a sudden I threw 3 arrows out and they like crap would be like, you saw a clip of that, he'd be like, I'm picking on crap. But a gamer would be like, how the hell did he get that? Oh, he did all 150 of those annoying things I didn't want to do. Maybe I will go do that.
But here's the problem, Mooch, that you're still going to complain that you have to collect all those things. So
no, but I'm collecting them for nothing right now. I don't mind collecting. We go to work for a check. We don't go to work for a high five.
Well, I get what you're saying. So the problem is like you're not alone. I feel very similar to you on that sort of stuff. I don't want to be bothered with a bunch of things that I don't want to do that doesn't have anything to do with the main part of the game. But there are gamers that truly do appreciate that, and I have to jump out. I have to stand outside of myself and say, there's people that do enjoy that. So it's optional. There's nothing really wrong with that, and that's what the balance they're trying to accomplish. I mean, and these are publisher decisions a lot of times too. So like the developer has a design and they're play testing and they're developing this game, but the publisher goes, well, I want more things to keep people engaged longer. They start, there's all these buzzwords they're trying to do. Well, we can do this, we can do that. And so a lot of that stuff is influenced a lot by the publisher. If you look at, I know you're a big fan of Destiny. If you look at Destiny's business model, one of the reasons why Bungie partnered up with Activision and, the certain things you see in Destiny is because of Activision, is because that's their business model to keep people engaged with that game for a longer period of time, regardless if people agree with their decisions or not.
Don, when I play with Xbox and Xbox says to me, "Hey, did you get the Whisper?" And that is an annoying thing to get, right?
Did you get the Whisper?
No, I didn't. But that's but I want to go get these things because at the end of these annoying things that take a long time in certain instances, like I get something worthwhile. I get a gun that's one shot from far away and it's amazing. And like I see all my friends have it and I'm like, damn, I need to do that. But think about it. At the end, if I got to the end of that annoying thing and I just pickaxed the side of the corner and it went ding, and then that was all I got out of it, and maybe I'm not doing that. Like, and the thing is, why put it in the game if you don't want people? If I'm a developer, okay, I want you to. And people are shout out to So Shady. He's like, can't the developers put things? I want you guys to create this world. I want you to make me explore it, but you also have to put it. You have to put a carrot out there for me to want to explore it.
Mooch, I think this conversation started coming up, when Spider-Man came out with the backpacks and everything like that. And I will let you know, collecting the backpacks, first off, they're all highlighted in the map and everything. It's kind of boring. I agree with you on the fact that there should be something on the end. When it comes to Spider-Man, it goes back to kind of what I was hoping the game would be, where, imagine at the end when you collect all those book bags, like kind of a shout back to like maybe a villain that wasn't maybe mainstream comes out, and if you take him out, then you get like a really kind of rare looking costume or something like that, because Spider-Man has had so many costumes throughout the comic books and such. But with also saying about Spider-Man, you also got to remember it is a comic book. And when it comes down to that, if you look at like how comic book movies have started, people were nitpicking on little things and stuff like that. So there are Spider-Man fans out there that will love all like the little Easter eggs and stuff that are in each backpack as well. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you're looking at two audiences. I think Mooch is talking more the general audience, but there's always, even with Tomb Raider's been around for so long that, putting little collectibles that might look back at like Tomb Raider 1 or 2 or stuff like that, people will go out and find those and have fun doing it. It's just, I don't think it's me or you. I don't think it's that. It's a thing for us. We'd rather have something at the end, man.
It's hard to categorize like that because gamers are way more diverse than you guys realize. Like I see certain numbers behind the scenes, and certain gamers are just they approach games differently.
You're right. Hey, let's be real. There's some gamers out there that'll play Barbie for all the achievements as well. So they might go through this whole thing, but they might not enjoy it as well.
Have no shame in that. Like it just depends. Like I'm. Way I play
shout out to Rand, by the way.
Nice.
A lot of times when I play like an open world game, I usually beeline it from mission to mission, but I hit the things along the ways. But if it makes me backtrack in any sort of way, I don't give a crap. I just keep on moving. So I do hit the thing. So I sprinkle the salt and pepper essentially until you get to the next story thing. This is something that the last Assassin's Creed did really well. One of the things I noticed when I did that, and I went through all the story missions, how the story missions are actually structured in that game, you actually end up clearing all the stuff along the way. So you actually clear out a good chunk of the map. And it made it so I didn't have to like backtrack, and I actually explored different areas of the map from different angles and, all these different story elements that are part of that game.
Well,
that's a really good design.
You've explained it from a developer standpoint. You are right. I try to always keep an open mind. Like I said, we had a great conversation on MNC Evenings last night about it. And realistically, you know, Don, you are looking at the larger demographic of customers where a lot of times we only deal with the hardcore, but I try to keep my ear to the ground to the casual as well. But, you know, one of the other things that was brought up, and I give credit where credit was due yesterday, Red Dragon put a tweet out, and he said, you know, developers for the most part put these huge amounts of effort and skill into these detailed worlds and these living like cities and living like the creatures and the animals that you have and the trees that are moving and everything else. And you put so much time and effort into it. And then you just sometimes, and I'm not you, Don, but then developers will just copy and paste the enemies. So the enemies that we fight nonstop and see in our face on TV the whole time are these cut and paste enemies. And I don't think he was just referring to Spider-Man, but I think he was just referring in general. But
you can go all the way back as Rise, like this generation. Like,
well, you could definitely pick on Rise if you want.
Like,
but why did developers do that as a whole, Don? Like, you spend so much time, and again, I don't mean when I say you, I do not mean you personally. I just mean developers in general. You guys do such a great job of detailing these living worlds that we can't wait to get immersed into. And then the enemies we have to fight all the time are always just copy paste. And it's like,
well,
when you want to put more time into the enemies,
copy and paste, like it's just orientated differently or scaled differently, or.
But don't you think the enemies should always be different or auto-generated?
I don't know if auto-generated. Here's the thing: is character design just takes a lot of work. That's one of the things I specialize in 3D modeling. So it does take up a lot of work. I would rather see less of multiple costumes for the main character you play and more diversity in the enemies you encounter, to keep it refreshed, because you know that's how I kind of look at it, because there's certain costumes like your main character you never touch, but you'll always engage.
Well, there's 65 costumes for Spider-Man. I mean, we could have had 6, right, or 5.
No, like, you could eliminate that down to 10 and add a lot more diversity to the character base. But the other thing is, like, you know, memory restrictions as well.
Yeah,
that's a big thing, and you always want to have a certain amount of things already preloaded in regards to that. So that's another thing you run into, and things become more incredibly more detailed. Then you run into that same restriction. So I mean, they're all good things to address. I just think, you know, part of it is good game design is having an enemy that is repetitive, that works. Does that make sense? And I'm going to refer back to Destiny. There's so many repetitive characters in that. We know that there's repetitive characters, but you accept it because it's not a human face most of the time. They're just like, you know, the enemy you shot 100 times ever since the 8-bit days. Like it's that rinse and repeat sort of thing. But as soon as you put like a human face on somebody, that's when it becomes. Then you don't accept it as much. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
So you know, part of it is good character design is how you do it. I mean, you look at the Locust. How many times is repeat character you're always engaging, or some tiny little variant that you don't even see from a distance?
Yeah.
From a sniper rifle, like in Gears. But that's fine. You accept it because it's not a human. So
that's a great point. I was just going to say, depending on what the enemy type is, it does change my opinion on whether or not there needs to be that much diversity in the enemy description. Yeah, I agree. I think that's a very valid point, and that's a great example with the Gears. The Gears enemies, you know, I don't feel like they had, you know, the Tickers don't have to look different. You know, they just don't. Yeah. And that's fine. I think that's great. But when you have the enemies like in Spider-Man or the enemies in Rise, I think that it's imperative.
Or Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I remember thinking that game was really good.
Yeah, you said
all the enemies look the same. And same thing with Rise, Son of Rome. That was one of the major things that like turned me off of that game, even though I liked the game, was that all the enemies look the same. Same thing with Spider-Man. They all
breaks their immersion, right?
It does. It completely breaks the immersion. Yeah. It's like,
so like I get it. Like I get where that's coming from. You could do a procedural generated character, but usually procedural generated characters don't look as good as somebody that here's the polish in there. So
here's the funny thing, Don. Dead Rising 3 did procedurally generated.
Dude, I was just thinking that.
And you know what was awesome was none of the zombies looked the same, right? It was like, and then in Dead Rising 4, all the zombies looked the same. Like it was like discount. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing you can fundamentally argue. It just trade-offs is all it is, right? Yeah. So if an artist didn't have to try to create procedural generated stuff to put together, they can put a lot more time into a more polished model. So technically, you can do one or two different things when they decided to do that game. They could have done the procedural generated stuff, which is what they did, or they can double down and making a character just ridiculously even higher detail. It just depends on how you want to approach it as a developer, and you got to make it make sense. You have to do what makes sense for you, I guess, is what it boils down to. And I think part of it is having an enemy type that's not human is probably the easiest trope.
But is it a money thing or a time thing as far as art goes, Don? What is it that's
it's money. It's anytime we're talking about time, there's also money involved, right?
Absolutely.
So those two, they're not separate. They're one and the same.
They're one and the same. Yeah, agreed.
The other issue is, realistically, it's hardware restrictions. What it comes right down to. So a lot of these characters are preloaded in your RAM, the textures, the models, all that sort of stuff. So it's ready to go when you're encountering somebody. So I mean, that's kind of how that works. The reason why the procedural generated stuff worked and this is where cloud compute does do really good things, is they procedurally generated that in the cloud, and they give a set of instructions for things that are preloaded.
Right.
So you'll see if you go through, not to break the immersion of that game, but you'll see like, oh, there's 20 zombies wearing the same flannel, but this one's wearing a different set of shoes than this one, right? So, but there's so much going on, it's so crowded that you don't pick up on those sort of patterns that are showing up there.
Yes.
And so, but they're not utilizing the CPU to procedurally generate. They're procedurally generate remotely, so they're freeing up that additional power on the box underneath your television, and they're giving you more variety. It just
so is that something that maybe future consoles will be able to, because you said
it can be done now. It can be done now. It's just a developer choice, what it comes right down to, because you got to plan out if you're going to do a procedural generated.
Let me ask you this, and guys in the panel, please do chime in. I mean, I'm kind of hitting Don here because Don's the one that's sitting in the seat that's working on this on a daily basis. But Don, do you think that, like, a lot of times when you come on the show, you'll always say that's a developer's choice, that's a developer's choice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think sometimes guidelines should be put in place for games so that way developers are making the game in a certain light instead of always? Because sometimes when you give developers choice, you know what happens? Cut and paste.
Well, I think a lot of times they're put in that position that's not their choice.
Well, I gotta say something here
too.
because there's a partnership between the developer and the publisher.
Exactly.
Now it's up to the publisher to decide whether or not what the developer is doing, whether or not they believe in it, to fund it to move forward. So in that case, I don't think there should really be. I'm all for creativity, and if it's coming down to it, and the dev team comes up with something that's absolutely horrible or whatnot,
right?
It's probably not going to get published. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you can't go too rogue, right? Everyone's got a boss to answer to. In regards to that, so when you're promising a certain thing to a publisher, you got to deliver on
fulfill that, man.
Yeah, you have to deliver on that promise, and you have to show progress, and you have to show what you're working on. So that's a lot of times what it comes down to. And sometimes there's somebody in the kitchen that's not the cook, right? I mean, that just happens. That's why I say, like, certain partnerships between certain studios and certain publishers sometimes are good marriages and bad marriages as far as all that stuff goes. One publisher could be a great publisher for one company, but can be awful for, say, another studio's vision. So it kind of goes around as far as that goes. And I understand where you're coming from. You want more variety. You don't want that copy and paste, but sometimes that copy and paste,
though, Don. But a lot of the things, a lot of the time, detail, money, and artwork, okay, which you said some of them are two and the same, are going into the main character. Like, and I'm picking on Spider-Man here, but
absolutely.
To have 20 different costumes, and you see people taking the photo mode all the time. We're switching, except for Boom, who's kept the same one, which kudos to Boom. Like, I've switched mine like every night. I'm a different one. And sometimes they have different abilities, so some of the abilities do help out with certain situations, but that can be changed in the game depending. Like, why not put some of the detail in some of the enemies we're fighting? Like, we have to fight them every 2 seconds. No matter what you're doing, you're going to get a gang of, like, the quote-unquote thugs they have in the game. You get to go fight them.
And I would probably agree with you, and that's probably my approach. But try to sell that to a publisher, it's a little bit different story, right? Because you think about it, okay, the publisher goes, well, I want a reason for people to continue to play. I want them to continue to be engaged. Okay, so we got these things you can collect in the world. Now, once you collect in the world, you can unlock these new costumes. And I'm only giving you X number of dollars.
Right.
So that generates more money and keeps my game more relevant for a longer period of time, especially with picture mode that we've seen a lot of games now being used as a marketing tool.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's a market. Everyone thinks it's a fun thing to do, but really what you're doing is free marketing.
It's fun marketing is what it is. Yeah. You're engaged, right? So that's kind of, that feeds into itself. So if you're a publisher, and then you also have the studio, how does the studio sell it to the publisher? Because are we going to make more money off that? Well, no. Will it keep people engaged longer? Well, I believe so. Well, give me some sort of numbers. Give me some sort of stats. We'll see so we can, because it's an open conversation these guys have, right?
Yeah.
And it makes it a tough sell. That's why I say I think studios need to be more independent on their own terms. What I mean by that is come with a more polished product before you approach a publisher.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, it does.
Because then you have the creative freedom to do what you want. You're taking the risk with your money, not someone else's money at that point. And when you bring the creative vision to a publisher, it's not taking on so much faith. They're like, it's tangible. They can play it. They can see the vision of what's going on. Then it's like, why is this different? Here's all these gamers that we brought in, made them sign NDAs and say, hey, this is different than this. And this, I'm excited for what these guys are doing.
Right.
So like there's different approaches that can be done. But the problem is a lot of independent studios don't have a lot of money and they want to get paid up front based on faith. And so it's really a relationship thing.
No, I think you explained it perfectly, to be honest with you. And to be honest with you, you gave me a good vision into the world that we don't see every day, Don, and I think that you made a good point. I do want to say this much. Zoot, if I can get Zoot in here. I am Zoot. Zoot actually did a review, or he gives hell of an opinion on Spider-Man. Zoot, would you do me a favor? Because we did talk about Spider-Man for a bit here, and I do want to get into we have a huge Forza segment of the show. But before we do that, Zoot, you and I just got a chance to bullshit and hang out and talk. And we were just going back and forth, and you got a chance to play Spider-Man at E3, I believe. And
Spider-Man,
right? And I want to know,
time for this crap.
Zoo, can you take us from basically E3 to your experience through the game? Like, what was your take on the game as a whole? Everyone in the audience has heard everyone on the panel. They haven't heard your take on it, and I think after a week of everybody playing it, the review still holds a lot of water.
No comment. That's what he has to say.
No comment. Next question.
Comment. Next question.
I have never felt so unwelcome.
Spider-Man, one of my favorite people. Go ahead.
E3 pretty much transitioned. It became what it is now. I liked it. It was good. I did not like the game overall immensely. It was just fighting the same enemies over and over.
Yeah.
You fight a boss in the beginning. You don't fight any bosses until they jam them all at you at the very end.
Yes.
And the game, you swing. The swinging was the best part of the game. I swung everywhere. I didn't
swing to the left.
Cha-cha-cha.
I didn't use fast travel. I went to the ground as little as possible.
Yeah.
I tried to kill as many people as possible. Spider-Man doesn't kill people, but I tried to.
Yes.
Overall, the game was okay. It was so repetitive, and the costumes didn't save the game for me at all.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's me.
No, and Zoot, I appreciate your honesty. I mean, to be honest with you, there are things about the game that I find are #fun. The suits, and shout out to So Shady. He said that's the reason that he's sparked to do all the quests, because the suits mean so much to him. Again, I don't know, So Shady will be on the show again. We'll ask him. But like for me personally, I'm not a Spider-Man comic book fan. So realistically, like, when someone's like, that lit up comic, that's a Spider-Man outfit from episode 83.
You didn't have Spider-Man tattooed on your ass like all
No.
What the hell are you playing the game?
Shame on you. You should.
You didn't know who Miles Morales was? Come on.
I didn't know who Miles
Morales.
Yeah.
The worst part of the game is it felt like an exact duplicate of the Arkham trilogy. Without the pacing of the bosses. The bosses it ruined the game for me, because they jam them all at you at the very end, and then they team up bosses together against you. Within the last 2 hours of the game, you fight everybody, and it ruined it for me. I didn't like that at all.
No, I agree, and I will pay the bill.
How
Steven Robinson
dare
says,
you?
Mooch, maybe since Microsoft is letting their studios do what they want to do, you might see a variety, I think he means, in the enemy types. What do you think of that as well, Don? Steven, I'm going to answer first. I'll let Don go back to that. I'm a little bit more skeptical.
The only thing that's going to make that happen is conversations that we're having right now.
Right. Thank you, Don.
That's the thing is when gamers it's not about like a complaining. It's just like, why aren't they doing this instead? I would appreciate this. And Mooch is always going to put me on there the hot seat because he can get answers from me that you normally wouldn't get from other people.
Correct.
But that's having the conversation. I'm giving them the reasons why. I'm not defending anybody. Just these are how decisions are made. And it's a good question to ask because those do get asked behind closed doors, and sometimes those get shut down. So if those conversations are out in the public, and the public has that conversation and says, hey, I would appreciate it, and it's something we can do as developers, that's what's going to drive people to put effort in different places in regards to that. So that's kind of the thought process that, it needs to happen in order to get there. I would say Xbox is always they have influence over their studios. I mean, no publisher doesn't talk to their studios and tell them that, hey, what do you think about this or that? They pitch. I think what I hear from Microsoft behind the scenes is Microsoft's taking a more of an approach of pitching ideas versus being strong-armed on the developers. So it's more of a mutual relationship that I'm hearing behind the scenes. And I think that's the reason why a lot of developers that are just signed up with them are incredibly happy because it is a more of an open dialogue, not necessarily a dictatorship, and so allows for those creative ideas.
I'm okay, Don. I'm okay with open dialogue.
Yeah.
I'm not okay, and I know that you're, and it's okay if you don't agree with this. I'm just from the world I came up in and the world I work in. It's very structured, and and I know that's just it's just not the way it is. Over there in I say the West Coast, but in gaming or in gaming journalism or in gaming anything. It's just very much like, everybody wants to get on social media and say, I work for so-and-so company, and they give me all the freedom in the world. Then it's like button, like button, like button, like button. And I got 75,000 likes, so that means it's great. Well, and that's not real world shit. That's why sometimes games come out and they come out lackluster because there's no leadership.
But the problem is it's an art form, right? So we're still learning how to turn an art form into a business, and games is still relatively new, and that's
agreed.
That's the issue that we're running into. So they still have deadlines. They still have to meet
deadlines, yes,
and all that sort of stuff. And that's what a good publisher does well. And it should be a conversation that evolves and say, okay, we're doing all this, but hey, we got this other cool idea. What do you think about that if we can deliver on this time frame? And then, Microsoft can come back and say, yeah, let's add that. Let's give you this much more time. And I think this is also part of the reasons why you don't hear about release dates with Xbox currently right now. So that dialogue can happen back and forth.
Yes.
But they're not strong-armed. That's the difference. There's a huge faith thing that the development community had problems with Microsoft going into this generation, early Xbox One, PS4 generation, that there was a lot of bridges burned. And what we saw for the last 3 or 4 years, the Microsoft leadership team is trying to remend those relationships in regards to that. And they also have to hold true to those relationships over time. So Microsoft they put themselves in a position of compromise a little bit, where if they didn't put themselves in that exact same position of compromise going into it, I think they would be a little more strong army going into this. But I don't get that impression right now.
A lot of what you've said, Don, that kind of answers the question is, deadlines, asking for more time, and Microsoft being very nimble with that. And that's fine. I think that's, and I have no problem with the lack of release dates, because to be honest with you, look at what release dates has gotten Microsoft so far with Crackdown 3. It's a mess. So I don't blame them at all for that move.
Game Pass, man.
I'm with you there, Xbot. But realistically,
haters.
So is Microsoft.
Haters.
Hold on. So is Microsoft. Microsoft. The reason why, Crackdown will be out when they said it's coming out is because of Game Pass, man. They can put it there. People can play it there. Put in their $10 per month.
So you're saying Microsoft is doing the old Ronco, set it and forget it.
Yeah, pretty much.
We know it could come out now, but Microsoft has all they need. According to
dude, I can't believe this.
Nice.
Oh,
they're good, guys. Come on, they've got more than enough content for us all. Let's just be appeased by this, and
Crap, I'm glad you brought. Crap,
That's
I'm
like
really glad you brought
Helen
that up.
describing a sunset right there. Man.
Hey, Boom. Now, Boom being the Teflon Don. Boom. I'm going to try and throw something at you, see if it sticks here. Okay. Aaron Greenberg comes out and says that, we don't need to release Crackdown 3. Crap, great job bringing it up. We don't need Crackdown 3.
Segue.
Right? We got plenty of stuff. We got such a stacked up fall.
Yep.
I mean, should Aaron maybe just not tweet?
Here's the thing, dude. On the Xbox Factor podcast, which I do on Thursday mornings, this
nice
was a
plug.
That was a nice plug.
You like how I threw that in there? I learned Mooch. I got to tell you, it taught me well, dude.
You have learned. You have learned. I love this. The Apprentice is taking over. This is good.
I brought this up, and the problem is this, and I said it then. I don't understand what the hell he's talking about because, listen, I will give people the props that they deserve when they do the right thing.
Yeah.
But this statement is asinine, like Crap would say. And here's why. You can't turn around and listen, I understand Sea of Thieves came out, and then we had State of Decay 2, and they're doing well for them. That's great. But you can't turn around during an interview or tweet it that we have more than we didn't need Crackdown 3 and we have more than enough stuff this fall when all we have, and I'm not saying all because obviously Forza Horizon 4 is going to be amazing, but you can't turn around and say that the Sea of Thieves DLC and the State of Decay Horde mode is going to save Microsoft in the fall. I'm just saying. And the problem, not only that, is that if you would have told me that we were getting Ashen and Below this holiday along with the DLCs and Forza Horizon 4, I would say, you know what? Considering they were kind of hanging on the ropes, this is not a bad fall. And then I would not be so aggravated when talking about his statement. But you can't, again, that's why there's so much heft in my voice. Because
you're right, Boom.
I'm sorry.
And I'm glad you said that. And a lot of people in the chat are like, come on, Mooch, he meant the third party. We all know what he meant. But the point of the matter is when you come out and say that, you're going to get the other side.
Hold on. He brought it in the first party when he said we didn't need Crackdown 3. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, good point,
that's when you bring it back to the first party. He might have been talking third party, but there is such a thing as over talking.
Yes.
And that's where he is guilty, man. There is no reason. If you're talking third party, you're talking marketing deals. This year is a great year. All that good stuff. Don't go back and like pour salt in people's wounds.
Yeah.
And say, no, we didn't need that anyway. Because people would be like, hell yeah, we did.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think it would have done them just if it was ready. Crap, you said this a while ago, and even though I'm not a fan of the Assassin's Creed series, you said, listen, if the game's ready, you put it out there. And I gotta tell you, that's a great line because if Crackdown 3's done, Crap, you know what? Throw it out there in November. Like instead of February 22nd, which is the day people remember to scratch their ass. Like nobody cares about February 20th, right? Put it out for Black Friday. Put it for $30 like you did for State of Decay if it's that much of a mess. So it's Game Pass for $30. Put it out for
Black Friday. You can have it full price, but really pump the Game Pass initiative, man.
Yeah,
that would be insane.
That if this game's ready to go and we just didn't need to release it, which is horse shit, like go ahead and do that.
Right.
So I mean, I just thought that was an interesting thing. That was a great segue from Crap there. I really do, but listen. I've got to make my own, whether it goes well or it doesn't. I got to get Alan in here because this Forza Horizon, there's too much Forza to talk about, not to talk about it for a good portion of the show. Alan, let people know. I mean, first of all, the game it's stunning. I haven't played it yet because I'm trying to save that magic moment, like the first time a kid crosses that ferry in the Disney World. I'm trying to make it so that I can have that. But realistically, what is it that people maybe don't know about Forza Horizon 4 that's coming up? If you can speak to anything, not secrets or reveals, I know you can't, but things that you can tell us that some people maybe haven't observed from the demo.
What I would say is it's not just a racing game. It is an open world game. It is a full-fledged open world game, and they've put in a lot of RPG style and MMO style mechanics into the game. You're in a shared world with up to 72 other people with you, or you can play with AI if you prefer to do that. There's individual progression and skill trees for each car in the game. There's 460 cars in total. This week, they announced that at the launch of the game, there's going to be 10 exclusive James Bond cars.
Oh!
Ultimate Edition.
Oh!
You're going to get 10 James Bond cars inspired by all the different films, all officially licensed.
Nice.
And the great thing is, in the Forza Vista mode, where you walk around the cars, you can actually view the gadgets on these cars that are used in the films.
Oh,
Yeah, you can go.
Everybody's money.
You can look at all the gadgets. It's pretty incredible. Also coming day one is an official Formula Drift car pack. So properly drift tuned cars from the official Formula Drift car pack are also at launch. So
Alan,
a lot of stuff coming.
I've been waiting to talk to you, man. You know what I really like about what is setting up in Forza Horizon 4? You know, I'm a Destiny player. What I like is there are like daily and weekly competitions and stuff to dive into to earn points and get kind of like extra rewards on a daily and weekly basis. Because you were talking like RPGs and, you know, leveling up. There is like an RPG style there, and it seems to me kind of like a you know, that games as a service kind of like Destiny type thing as well, dude. I am so excited for this game.
There's so much great stuff in it, and like I was at the preview event a few weeks ago, and I can finally talk about all that stuff now. And I played the first couple hours of the game, and it's like I spent so much time just driving around the map. Like their recreation of Edinburgh City is stunning. And I interviewed Ralph Fulton about the game, and we were talking about how that city is actually inspired by the way they designed it. It's actually inspired by an old track that's in Project Gotham Racing 2, which goes back to the original Xbox days. So that's a pretty cool little fact.
Alan, Alan, well, let me say, and Alan, I have a question for you. Shout out to Stephen Rush. Says, Alan, you sold me and made Mooch a few extra bucks. Thank you, Stephen. And
there we go.
And, yeah, Playground, you're welcome as well. You just made $60 on Stephen. Alan, here's my thing about this. Is there more to the game for us? Like you know this, Alan. I've been very open with you about it. Okay, I'm not a huge racing car fan, and I got news for you. I've said this before. This time, this is on me. It's on me, Alan. I am making sure that I spend 2 quality days hanging out with you on Forza Horizon 4 when your schedule allows it. But is there anything for the casual gamer that says, okay, I've played Forza Horizon 2, I've played Forza Horizon 3, I drive around, I break those, workhorses that give me, points and this and that. Is there more besides barn finds in that people can look forward to?
Alan, can I say something?
Yes.
Alan, I'll give it right back to you. Mooch, they have stunt races, man.
All right, now you're talking.
Stunt races where all of a sudden there's jets flying by. You have to hit this jump. There are cars bobbing and weaving in front of you, and you have to do it all the way the director says as you're going through like that. Dude, I was like, oh my goodness.
So basically, there's those stunt races. Are there more than one?
Yes.
Oh, there's a lot.
Yes.
There's a lot. So what Xbox is talking about, these are the new Horizon stories that are in the game. And the one that you're kind of seeing online that's coming out, the preview events coming out of the demo, is the Bugatti Chiron. So you're a stunt driver for a movie, you're driving the Chiron, a jet is chasing you to try and jump way off into the distance. And it's pretty cool. And that's one of 10 chapters in that stunt driver series. There's a lot of different story threads. There's a lot of them they haven't actually spoken about yet, but one of them is you can buy a supercar rental business in Edinburgh, and you're driving around supercars for fun. You're renting them out, and every day you log into the game, you earn credits. There's a taxi business you can buy where you have to, pick up people and drop them off, and you learn credits. Right, you're driving the actual proper old London taxi as well when you're doing that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So you're gonna have all these Horizon stories. Some of them are going to be tied to businesses. Some of them won't be. But there's a lot of stuff there.
Alan, can you talk a little bit about the multiplayer?
I hear there's a town of Albion in there.
There's a few chicken suits in there.
But
why?
I wonder why. That as Crap would say, that is dark and sinister. Listen, no, I want to say is this. What about the multiplayer? Because someone like myself, again, the casual Forza gamer, that says, I want to play this game, but I want to play with my friends. I want to race. I want to get Crap. I want to get Alan. I want to get Boom. I want to get Zoot. I want to get everybody on this panel. Right? I want to get Boom. I want all of us to race each other. Like,
I'm really slow.
How?
my car will look good, man. My car will look good.
For some reason, I see Zoot picking like a Mini Cooper. I don't know why. I think maybe it's because it's Earth friendly. You guys are on the West Coast. You guys like that stuff.
Oh, thank you for noticing.
You're welcome, Zoo.
West Coast is the worst coast.
Oh, let's not get him upset.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
he's a guest.
Is Florida still there?
Oh yeah. Oh, we're here. We're here.
So far it is.
That's an answer I love.
And we don't have any earthquakes here, so we're good.
That's not bad. That's not bad. No earthquakes is a good thing. Now, Alan, how do we play multiplayer without it being a mess?
One other thing. Plus, we're allowed to use straws here. It's not illegal, so we got that.
That's true. Yeah, straws are really.
You live in a penis-shaped state. Shut up.
We do, but we can use our straws. I mean, that's crazy to me. You know, like I'll take a cock-shaped state over a state that doesn't let you use straws any day of the week.
Go home. I could go away, come home, and my house is still there.
I can too.
Well, I mean,
hey, how many earthquakes have you had?
This year, 0. How many
in your whole life? How many in your whole life? How many in your whole life have you experienced there?
I don't know why this is coming up, but our earthquake codes are so high. You hear about earthquakes.
Exactly. And I can tell you this.
Hear about any buildings falling because our earthquake codes are high.
In 27 years of living in Florida, I've dealt with one hurricane. That's it.
Hey, do you remember when your power went off for a week and nobody could talk to you?
I do, but it was the first time and only time my entire life.
You had the PlayStation Network of a house at that time.
I did, but I wasn't the only one. Like that was the only time, though. You know what I mean? Like, and like I said, I don't have to deal with the earth moving under my feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at least you can call me.
And I can. You know what? I can own my guns. I can use straws. You know,
are you mad because when I told you that if you wanted to win something, get a PS4?
No, I have a PS4.
That was actually pretty funny.
I have a PS4.
I love it. Listen, guys, I hate to say it, but Alan has got to describe to me how to play multiplayer in Forza. I don't know.
All right.
It's a shared
world. It's been a mess.
There's a few things. There's a few things for multiplayer, okay? It's not a mess. There's a few different ways you can do it. So first of all, there's the shared world I'm talking about where you're with up to 72 other people. You'll see them in the world as you're driving about. They can't troll you or they can't crash into you, so don't worry about that. The second way you can do is co-op. So you just invite in your friends, you form a convoy, and you pretty much go through the whole campaign in co-op working together. Right. Or you can race PvP where you're actually against each other. And then there's the team adventure mode where you and a group of players, you know, you form your team. You can even give yourselves a team name and a team logo and all that. You go to team adventure, take on another team, and you essentially work together to try and earn more points through both races and the infection survival mode that they have.
So is that the same as 3?
It's which one?
Forza Horizon 3.
No, but like what?
It's a team adventure mode.
Oh no, team adventure is similar but not identical.
It's a little bit different because I remember the Horizon 3 was awesome because he would put you in a tumbler and you would just pick a class as a group and then it would throw you all these different race events.
Yes, so it still has that to it.
Okay, good.
They've designed it to be like more competitive and more team based inspired. So you can actually create your own team and be full on competitive if you want to do that. So that's in there, and they have a bunch of rewards and progression associated with it now. So yeah, they've got quite a few different ways you can play multiplayer, and you'll also be able to. This won't be there at launch, but in the first major post-launch update, they're introducing the Race Route Creator. You're going to be able to download tracks that other people in the community make. Well, not tracks, but race routes.
Yes.
And bring them into your game and play them. You can play them online with your friends, all that good stuff. Make your own circuits, share them online. There's a lot of great stuff they've got coming.
What about like just drag racing or say we want to race? Like how do
I have a game for you. It's called Forza 7.
Okay, so
no, I want to play with my friends. Crap.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
You want to just do standard races? You can do all of those. They have a bunch of events they've made in the game, and they've also got, as I said, community-made race events also coming after release. So all that's going to be there. As for drag racing, they have I believe they have 3 different drag strips in the game. You got one at the festival, you've got one at an airstrip, you got one on the beach. So those are all in the game.
Yo, Alan, because you said about creating your own events and stuff like that. Do they still have the blueprints there where you can
yes.
pick the music, the ambiance, the time of day? And because that was one of the things I really liked in 3.
Blueprinting is still there, and they've made discovering events so much easier. So you might remember in Horizon 3, you'd go into it, and it was just
a list of events your friends have made, and that was it. And there's no way to search for events or anything like that. So they've got rid of that. They've changed it. This time when you load up, you will see events that you've made. You'll see events that your friends have made. But you'll also see events that are really popular in the community. You'll see events that Turn 10 have picked because they think they're really good. So, you know, developers handpicking community events. And you'll also be able to filter events by different categories and genres. And you'll also be able to search for them directly. So if someone in the community has made a good event, find their gamer tag, enter it in, and download it. So they've improved that system a lot over Horizon.
So, Alan, have you played the different seasons?
So
can you talk about that?
At the preview event, yes, we went through.
Okay.
So what they did was, you go through the same E3 demo initially, like in the demo, and then you're thrusted into the prologue. So the prologue lasts about 6 hours. It starts at summer, and then it goes into autumn, then winter, then spring. Once you go beyond the prologue, so once you finish spring, what happens is you're thrusted into the Horizon life experience, where your season will change every week with the community all at the same time. So it'll be summer one week, the next week it'll be autumn, and so forth. Now, a lot of people have been saying they don't like the forced seasons. I asked Ralph if they plan to maybe change that or give players choice in deciding seasons, and there's no plans to introduce that. Everyone's going to be on the same season.
That'd be difficult with a shared world and getting all that to work correctly.
Well, Ralph,
I understand why they do that.
Ralph did say that no matter what season you're in, if you are a street racer, they will have street racing for you that you don't really have to deal, like plowed streets and stuff like that. So.
I think a lot of people are kind of worried because they think of winter and they think the roads are going to be covered in snow and they won't be able to drive properly. Now, they're going to have a lot of roads that are going to be cleared of snow that you don't have to worry about snow or ice or anything like that. So it'll affect different parts of the map differently. It'll change every week, and every week they're going to introduce...
I guess my question, because it's the same world, right? And they give the different seasons on top of it.
Yes.
Are the races the same, regardless of season, or is there races specific to each season? These are the things like no one's talking about, and I want to know.
There are races specific to each season. So every week they're going to introduce new events for like curated to each season. Some of the events that are already in the game will be changed up to match the new season. For example, there's some races in winter that'll drive through the ice lake. But how would that work in summer?
Exactly.
When it's all water. So some of the race events will change depending on the season. There'll be some races exclusive to certain seasons. You get prizes for competing in those. Also worth mentioning that the showcase events are going to be remixed, and you'll be able to play those in different seasons. So that Halo event that you saw being played in summer on the live stream this week, that'll be playable in winter, and that'll be playable in spring. So if you did watch that Halo event on the live stream this week that Forza did, you didn't see all of it. You're going to be able to play that in all 4 seasons. I hear it looks pretty cool in winter.
Alan, I think my favorite season to race in is going to be spring because I want to do mud racing. But I think my favorite one, like graphically, the one that looks the best to me is autumn, dude. Autumn looks incredible, man.
Autumn looks incredible. Winter's going to produce some really interesting and unique visual effects as well. Like Blizzard Mountain on Horizon 3 looks stunning, and you're going to be seeing a similar effect in Horizon 4. So
how do the seasons take place, though, Alan? Is it something like as I'm progressing through the campaign and I'm playing through those seasons will change, or is it something that they're going to implement seasons?
Man. It's like Destiny 2 reset.
Okay, so it's like reset.
Yes, but as I was saying, the first 6 hours of the game, they will walk you through each season, so you can get to grips with the game, you can get to grips with each season. Once you've completed the prologue, which, as I said, lasts about 6 hours, then you're put into the shared world with the shared seasons. That's the way it's going to work. So
that's nice, man.
Yeah, so
prologue 6 hours?
Every week it'll update. Yeah, don't really like... They called it a prologue. They called it a prologue, but don't think of it as a generic prologue or a tutorial or anything like that. It's not. What they mean by prologue is the seasons, they changed them for you as you progress through the game. And then once
kind of like what the demo is doing?
Yeah. So
the demo, you get to a certain point, they're like, okay, you're ready for autumn now. That's about as far as I got.
Exactly. So the demo won't let you go beyond that point, but in the full you would then transition into autumn, and you'll unlock a bunch more stuff. And once you earn enough influence, which is their progression I guess, like system that they have, like XP essentially.
What about
Build and progress to winter?
What about DLC, Alan? Like, there's people who bought the $100 edition like crap, and there's a lot of people like myself that are saying, well, I have Game Pass, so I'll get that. And then if there's a worthy DLC, I'll grab it. What are you hearing about that's coming down the pipe that maybe the $100 owners are looking forward to?
There's a lot of DLC. So first of all, day one, 2 car packs, James Bond car pack and Formula Drift car pack. Secondly, every week, you're going to receive 2 new cars in the game when the season changes.
Nice.
So yeah, that's exclusive to the car pass, which comes in the Ultimate Edition. And so yeah, you're going to get that content every week. First big expansion in December, second big expansion in early 2019. And they're also going to add some free content to the game as well. And there's what else? Oh yeah, you get VIP in the Ultimate Edition, so you will get your double credits at the end of every race, because I know that's important to a lot of people. Yep. So yeah, that's all in there. They have a lot of plans.
So someone who's not somebody who's in Game Pass that might want to grab some of these DLCs as they come out later. You know, I mean, the thing about it is that it sounds like maybe the $100 package is a good deal.
Yes, it is. It's actually a better deal this year than it has been in past years, because in past years, they wouldn't include the big expansions in the Ultimate Edition. Those would be purchased separately.
Yes,
yeah, Blizzard Mountain wasn't included in the Hot Wheels one.
Yeah, exactly. For Horizon 4, they're doing this is a first for Forza. Everything is in the Ultimate Edition, so
which you just sold me on, by the way.
Say it again, Boom. I'm sorry.
You just sold me on the $100 edition. Honestly, I wasn't going to get it. I was saying, I'll just do Game Pass, but I'd rather not piecemeal everything.
Well, Boom, it sounds like a la carte might cost us more.
There's no doubt about it's going to cost more for sure. Because I was actually while everyone is talking, I was just looking up to see, and the VIP is 20, and the car pack is 30 by itself.
And the expansion.
How many car packs do you get? Because I remember on the Forza Horizon 3, there was like quite a few of them. It all of a sudden started up, and like next thing you know, like I had another car pack that was exclusive because I bought the more expensive.
So there's a change in terms of how cars are delivered. So rather than a monthly car pack with 7 cars, they're not doing that system anymore. Every week you're going to get 2 cars.
Oh, that's great.
So every season, so like you said.
Yeah, exactly. You'll get them when the season changes. This lasts for 21 weeks, so you'll get a total of 42 new cars. At no additional cost of the Ultimate Edition. And it's worth saying that they will also add cars to some of the different events in the game.
So if someone doesn't have the Ultimate Edition, if they wanted access to those cars, they would have to pay for them, right?
They would, yeah, they have to pay for them. They'll add some free stuff as well after launch. They always do that, but those specific cars tied to the Ultimate Edition, they'd have to pay for them.
So basically the demo is 1/4 of the prologue, if what I understand.
Yeah, it is literally just the basic introduction to the game. They don't give you
the intro though, Alan. You know the intro that's really, really always stimulating. The music's great. They put in this case the Bugatti.
Yes.
Is that already in the demo?
That's all in the demo.
Okay, it is. Okay.
Yeah, that's all in the demo. So
my main reason for waiting was because I love that intro.
The demo is literally the first hour of gameplay.
Okay,
that is literally what you're getting from the demo, and like to be fair, they're giving you quite a fair bit of content for free. You even get to explore like a quarter of the map, which is pretty incredible. So, yeah, they give you quite a lot of content in this demo. There's a lot to play with. I've played through it now a few times. There's really good stuff. Like honestly, there's so much stuff in this game.
Yeah,
it's hard to cover it in one show. Like they've improved a lot of things. They've changed a lot of things. They have.
So there's a question for Alan though. It says, can we buy the VIP by itself if we have Game Pass, Alan?
Yes, you can, and you'll get a 20% discount on that.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, dude, I have to say, like, my most anticipated game this year was Spider-Man because Forsaken is DLC, so whatever. After playing Spider-Man for a little while and seeing and getting my hands on the demo for Forza Horizon 4, I gotta say that now Forza Horizon 4 is my most anticipated game this year. Seeing what they did with the daily
refreshing
activities.
to hear you say, Xbox. Very refreshing because you were so adamant about Spider-Man for a long, and I don't blame you. I'm not going to say that you were
what it
wrong.
is. What it is with me, it scratches like a couple itches I have. I love cars. I absolutely love cars.
Yes.
So it's got that.
Yeah.
With putting in that RPG style, it's something I can build build towards when it comes to each individual car, and I'm pretty sure car classes as well. And then the kind of like the cherry on top is taking that thing I really love in a game like Destiny, daily challenges, weekly challenges, stuff to build up towards, within just kind of like the general story of the game, putting that into an open world racer like this, to me, that's just the cherry on top. You put in the graphics and how the cars feel. I know, Mooch, you haven't played the demo yet, but dude, it's even better than 3 in terms of how they feel and how they react.
Just from what I've seen in reactions.
Pretty, like it's incredible. Like the stuff they've done with this year's game is pretty incredible. And like you were saying earlier as well, how you have the individual skill trees for each car in the game. You got to remember as well, when they add those 2 new cars every week into the game, you're going to have the 2 skill trees for those cars as well. So, like, that's pretty great. And you can progress through the game whatever way you want and earn rewards wherever you want. Like, one of the things they talked about this week is that watching live streams of Forza Horizon 4 on Mixer will earn you XP in the main game. Even watching live streams of the demo counts.
I also heard broadcasting as well.
It does. Yeah. And if you have a large audience, you'll get even more. So you can actually progress and unlock everything in Horizon 4 by just...
I know what the Don will be streaming.
I already streamed it. I enjoyed the demo a lot.
Yeah, it's like... So you can progress however you want in Horizon 4. If you like taking photos, that'll learn you progression. If you like exploring, that'll progress you. If you like making car designs or tuning cars, that'll progress you. If you like collecting cars, that'll progress you.
Hey, Alan, I got a question from a casual gamer in Forza that maybe you can help with. So whenever there's a race to partake in, and it'll let you pick a class of car, A, B, whatever, and you'll pick a B car, and you know that the B car is not going to do well. You just know like somebody just said right now, like they were saying a 2015 Subaru WRX, which actually handles quite well. But let's say it's a speedster race, right? But they still allow you to pick that car, which has got a slow, off the cuff, like 0 to 60, but it's really good at handling turns. In a situation like with something like that, like why do they give you these options for vehicles sometimes in the races where you're not going to win with that car? You know what I mean? Like if the car's not it's not a mudder, it can't handle the mud.
The reason they do that is because you could actually manually tune and upgrade that car to bring it up to spec. So if you were someone who kind of knew what engine parts to put on, if you were someone who knew how to tune it so it would work really well off-road, that's pretty much why they give you the choice. They don't want to lock off certain cars to certain things only. And as well as that, with the blueprint system in the game, you go to an event, you can say, this event's to be only S-Class cars and nothing else. So then you only have to think about S-Class. So you can do that as well if you want to.
Right.
Mooch, I'm going to help you out here. Download Delirium Blades tunes, and you'll do well, regardless. That's one of the things you can share. So say you don't understand how to upgrade, or like what would be the good upgrade to give you an advantage there. You can follow particular people that have particular tunes, and you can download them. And they'll apply
by tunes.
I mean the tune cars. You mean?
Yeah, it would apply the rims they chose.
Oh, the way they tune up the car.
Yeah.
Tune-ups, Mooch. Tune-ups. Come on.
When you said tunes, I know there's radio channels, and you could have had at one time you were able to get whatever it was, Microsoft, like whatever their radio thing was, Groove, until they until they got rid of it. And
but that's what I mean. Like if you don't want to get into how to basically upgrade these vehicles, you can basically just install other people's tunes and make your car better.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, that's fine. Tunes, baby.
Tunes. I just want to add to the thread here. The Halo content.
That's got me intrigued.
We're talking about Forza 4, and Alan went into real detail, on this morning's show. Shameless plug, Breakfast with Boom on Friday mornings.
Nice plug again, huh? Crap. He's good.
Yeah, he's a professional, man.
But I think it's really. And first of all, this conversation is amazing, and I don't want it to end, but Crap is going to be sending the GIF in the next 15 minutes. But I don't think it can be understated how incredible this Halo content is going to be.
How much time does it take to get through this Halo content?
Now, keep in mind, this is just one showcase event. You'll complete it in about 5 minutes. Do keep that in mind. But they have gone to quite a lot of detail in how the event kind of immerses you into like a Halo style universe. Like you are literally playing the Master Chief, driving a warthog with banshees flying around you and a pelican behind you, and there's all different objects from the Halo universe scattered around. What I was saying on Boom's show earlier, though, is that there's actually going to be a lot of secrets associated to that mission.
Nice.
I don't know what they are. I'd imagine they'd probably relate to Halo Infinite, maybe some teasers, maybe some like small little things. But this mission does fit into the Halo universe. It actually fits into the storyline. So it is only a training mission.
You leave the streets of England for this.
No, it actually does take part in Britain.
Okay.
It changes like Skybox.
It changes the Skybox. You can see the Halo ring and all that. So
there's a big Covenant ship in the distance as well.
Yeah, and it's very reminiscent of the Silent Cartographer mission from Combat Evolved.
Oh, what?
And as I was saying earlier on, the event will be playable in all 4 seasons, and Playground will be remixing their showcase events after launch to change some stuff up to make you go back and play them again. So they might add some more stuff to that mission or change it up a little bit after release as well. So yeah, it's going to be something definitely worth keeping an eye on, because I think there's going to be a lot of cool stuff that'll come out of that Halo event. Speaking of Halo as well, something I do want to touch on is they have the car horns are back in Horizon 4. They have Halo music car horns. They also have them for Sea of Thieves and Killer Instinct.
Nice.
And the Windows XP shutdown chime, which has kind of become a meme of recent times, that's also in the game as well. So all that stuff is in the game, and it's you'll unlock it as you play through it. My God, there's so much content. Like
I went 396 people just pre-ordered.
I said in my preview.
Good one, bot.
For the game that went out this week.
Game of the year, baby. Woo!
This is The Witcher 3 of racing games.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
Great
just
comparison.
is. Especially when Horizon 4 actually has some RPG and MMO style kind of like gameplay mechanics to it. I thought it was a good comparison to make.
Alan, when does the embargo lift? Do you know?
The preview embargo lifted this week. It lifted on Wednesday.
But I mean, me and Crap were talking about it yesterday. When you have a demo out of this stature, right, and everybody's playing it, everybody's enjoying it, and there's been no issues, and everybody keeps taking screenshots, you do realize that this ultimately means that if October 2nd, whatever the release date is, a week before, or maybe even a week and a half before, they're probably going to lift the embargo for the reviews to come out, so people are talking about it, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they're fairly confident now.
Yeah, so I can't speak to when the embargo is going to lift for reviews, but what I can say is early access for Ultimate Edition starts on September 28th. So I'd imagine sometime that week you're probably going to see the reviews start to hit the internet, and I imagine they'll give the press or obviously early access to that so they can get their reviews sorted out. Like, you know, they've played the preview, they've played the demo, so they've already played bits of the game. And yeah, like at the end of the day, 2 weeks from today, Horizon 4 will be out for Ultimate Edition owners. It's just 2 weeks away, so we're really close. This week was huge. It was the previews week. You had the demo drop. You had all the previews dropped. The interviews dropped. It's gonna be big, and like, you know, in my opinion, I think this is going to become Microsoft's new highest-rated Xbox One exclusive.
Oh yeah,
which I believe would then make it the highest-rated exclusive of the year overall, if that does happen. So, yeah, I mean, you know, it's tough to ask Alan because he's gotten to see certain things that we don't know about and he can't speak to yet. But I mean, is this something that me and Crap have said that we think it'll clear 90? Is that something that seems feasible? Horizon? Here's what I'll say. Horizon 3 got a 91. It's the highest rated Xbox One exclusive. I think Horizon 4 will beat that. Like, the amount of content they're introducing into the game, something would have to go horrifically wrong for it to not be.
Alan, I know what you're saying with the amount of content. And now what needs to happen is it needs to be easily accessible and entertaining to get into. Like, you can have a game.
It is though. Look at the demo.
That's what I'm thinking. If it's gonna beat the 91, and I'm thinking from what I've seen and from what I played, and from what I hear, from you on this show, everything put together, I'm thinking at like a 94, which is absolutely astronomical. But it's got to, some people get kind of turned off where, well, where is this race and where is that race? And I know at certain points in time, like my family members looking at Forza Horizon 3, when they looked at the map and they saw all like everything that was on the map, they kind of got a little overwhelmed, like, oh, what the hell am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as long as they make it, easily accessible and entertaining to progress through and stuff like that, even for people who aren't the most hardcore racers, if they can nail that down, then you got instant, like, mid 90, no problem. Man.
What I'll say as well to that is, first few hours of the game, especially the first 6 hours, they do a good job of holding your hand through it and, telling you what you can do and introducing you to all the different features. They do a great job of doing that. But if you're someone who wants to play the game your own way and you want to go off the beaten path and you don't necessarily want to do what the developers have laid out for you, you can also do that. They give you full freedom as well. So, obviously, you'll play through the normal events and stuff for the first few hours, but as you play more and more of the game, they'll open up a bunch of things for you to do. you have a lot of freedom there, so don't worry. They've made it pretty accessible. Like,
is it another festival, Alan?
Okay, so with Horizon 3, you were kind of like the boss of the festival. You had to open up multiple festivals around the country. For this game, there is a festival, but there's only just the one, and it's not really the main focus of the game. You're not the boss of the festival anymore either. Your goal is to kind of become what they say is a Horizon superstar, and you can do that through multiple ways. It can be through festival races, or it can be through these Horizon stories and being a stunt driver for movies, or it can be through progressing through the game in various different ways that I was talking about earlier. There's also street races as well, which take place at nighttime with traffic.
And stunt driving are the two places I'm going to be.
Yeah, the PR stunts that people like from Horizon 3, they're back in this game as well. There's the team adventure stuff, the competitive online play, all the online integration. That's all there. You can progress through that if you want. So it's not as festival themed as Horizon 3 was. Horizon 4 at the start, you do drive to the festival, but like, if you don't want to go back to the festival again, you don't have to. Remember, first for Horizon 4 is you can buy houses. You can buy houses in the game.
Mooch wants a castle.
I should say, for those who've played through the demo, when it gets to the bit where it's supposed to transition to autumn, what happens is you then get your first house. The game gives you a house for free, and that then unlocks things like character customization. So you can change the clothes on your character, or put different outfits on them, or give them
no more skinny
jeans. What's that? Sorry?
Say it again,
no more skinny jeans at that point.
Yeah, they got all that.
Man, that game's like a skinny jean convention when you first start up the game. But
skinny jean.
Yeah, no. If you wanna change that, you can. Actually, you've just reminded me as well. The James Bond car pack I was speaking about earlier also comes with 2 James Bond outfits you can put on your character.
Nice.
So,
if anybody wants to ever dare question Alan's love and admiration for this game, I dare you not to do.
Dude, you can hear the excitement in his voice, man.
My Lord. I mean, not only is he excited to play the game, but he knows the inner workings of this game. And Alan, I'm actually very excited for it to come out, because I know that even when the game comes out and the embargoes lift, then you can truly get into some of the nitty-gritty stuff that is so fun, because you've got so much information. This is the stuff you can talk about. I can't wait to hear about what you can't talk about.
Oh, I know. Like 2 weeks, though. 2 weeks until the Ultimate Edition comes out. We're going to be having a show, talking about what everyone thinks of the game, providing they got the Ultimate Edition.
Alan, what I need you to do is get that hold of the community manager and get him a hold of Mooch immediately. Stat, please, if you don't mind. And I am going to be getting that tweet from Crap any minute now. I do want to poll the panel here real quick. So, real quick, Insomniac Games has come out again and said that they'd be happy to make Sunset Overdrive 2. And I just want to end on this question for you guys. And Crap, I saw you immediately responded on Twitter, and you were like, "How could they do that? They're going to be making Spider Bug 2.
They're not. Spider Bug 2.
Right? I think. Listen, here's the thing. I just don't think. I don't think the offer is coming from Microsoft. I don't think they want to do it.
Microsoft has Microsoft. Here's the thing. Insomniac Games, what they actually said was, it's a timing thing. It's a bandwidth thing. We all know they're doing Spider-Man 2. There ain't going to be any kind of Sunset Overdrive for a long time, if ever. So.
I mean, does everybody kind of feel that way? I think that there's still a window there, because I said to Crap, there's definitely a Spider-Man coming out in the future, but I don't think
Insomniac was still in talks with Disney of what their next move is. I don't think they've decided on what. So they've been they've been kind of fishing a little bit on with them too. So we'd be excited to do other superhero games.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wink. We would be excited to do Sunset Overdrive too. I don't think anything has been inked.
That's what I was saying to Crap. I don't think they're committed to anything yet.
I would bet though that they have options for more Spider-Man games.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's not on the table. But I think they're a studio that wants to do multiple different projects. They're some studios are like that, some studios are not, and they're one of those ones that they want to tackle different things. So I think what they're doing is they're fishing. I mean, if nothing else comes in, will they do Spider-Man 2? Most likely. Or if it just makes sense for their studio, if they want to grow the studio, sure. But I don't think anything has been inked yet.
I mean, why not? If you're Microsoft, why not make Sunset Overdrive is now a household name.
Everybody wants it, dude.
It's not just with the hardcore, right? Boom, it's not.
Yeah, right. I mean, look, let me just say this in regards to this. First of all, I think it would sell very well. Not just to the hardcore, like you were saying. I actually think that people would find it more appealing simply because of Spider-Man. You understand? Like, I think that people that own multiple consoles that support both would be like, well, wait a second. I enjoyed Spider-Man, and it's the same developer. Sunset Overdrive 2, it's not going to be like Spider-Man, but it's going to have very similar mechanics in regards to traversing the environment. So I think that in itself, the Spider-Man game, even though it wasn't meant to sell Xbox games, could convert people. I think it would do well in this current environment. But I am going to say this: I think that it's superheroes are hot. The MCU is hot. Why not try and get the same company that made the Amazing Spider-Man, and I really do mean that, I love the game, to do another Marvel character and make an exclusive for Xbox.
They're not gonna make it.
Well, here's the thing, man. Sunset Overdrive, like, everybody knows the sequel is where you really get the franchise going.
Yes,
like
I agree.
The first one will, if it does moderately okay, in my opinion, it automatically deserves a sequel. Because what if, like, Naughty Dog, with the first Uncharted was like, well, that's it. It didn't blow the roof off everybody's house. We're going to move on. I feel like Sunset Overdrive, the biggest kind of like complaint about that game was no co-op. They had a co-op mode, but people wanted co-op in the story. They wanted to go through the story with their friends.
Yes.
That would scream, make a sequel, have co-op in the story, and move on from there. And I feel like it should be done, man.
Have a more living world, and I think that thing is solid. I think Sunset Overdrive is a lot of fun. It's a colorful game. It's got so much going on. The writing was the best part of it.
The weapons were fantastic.
The weapons were great and expanding on that. I'm gonna sound like crap. The great thing about moving forward in games or consoles is give me everything Sunset Overdrive 1 had and give me more weapons on top of that.
Well, to answer Boom's earlier question, though, why not do a superhero game? That's highly unlikely.
No, I know. I know.
Disney cost a lot for those properties, a lot. And so now you have a weird situation where a publisher is paying for something that's going to be exclusive. Also, the only reason why there's an exception with Spider-Man, and the reason why it happened with Spider-Man, is because of Sony's relationship in regards to Marvel.
Right.
In regards to that. So they were able to work something out that wasn't necessarily just dollars and cents. It's just like, hey, you own the rights to all the toys and this sort of thing, but we upfront the cost here, we get this. So they're able to kind of leverage that situation. Microsoft doesn't have that same sort of leverage. They do have a lot of capital, but I don't think they would ever see a return on a superhero game if it's an exclusive outside of owning some sort of movie rights or something like that to kind of leverage the situation. I just don't think you're going to see exclusives outside of Spider-Man with any platform, to be honest with you.
Interesting. And we have reached the 2-hour mark, folks, and I did get the infamous tweet from Crap. So I know that my time is very, very short. I gotta wrap that up.
Friday night, man, stuff to do.
Things to do, games to play.
Baby.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I appreciate Xbox doing the legwork for me, so I join them in 2 weeks. It gives me the cliff notes.
Hey, if I can beat it in 24 hours, I get specific things. So let's just
I don't know what those are, and this is a family show for the most part.
Oh no!
All right. So I'm only kidding, Xbox. Let me go in reverse order. This has been a great show. I'll start with I am Zoot. Zoot, I got news for you. You will be known as the silent assassin on CrossFire. It is always good to have you here, buddy. And can you let people know where they can find you on Twitter or any publication you want them to find you on?
Thank you. You can find me on Twitter at ZootPlays. I'm not giving out my social security number like I did last time. That was disastrous.
It didn't work out so well.
But yeah. Anyways, that's all I'm giving you.
Zoot,
Robert D says, block him.
I love the Zoot. I got to go next to the Don. Don, you are a plethora of information. You answered a lot of Mooch questions. You did really well under the hot lamp, buddy. You know, you would have done really well in the $25,000 pyramid. Dating myself, but a great show nonetheless. Don, let people know where they can find you.
You definitely are dating yourself. I don't even know what that
Yes.
is.
It's old as shit.
The best way to get a hold of me is on Twitter, which is the Don_KTR. If I'm ever guest starring on other people's podcasts, that's where you find me. So
Awesome to have you, Don. Thank you for. I'll book you. I'll try and book you tomorrow for after Christmas if I can get you in here. So we'll see how that works. Then I've got Xbot448, who literally has one hand on the mouse and the other hand on his Xbox controller playing Destiny.
Well, I got Forza Horizon 4. It's a great screensaver going on right now. It's just circling around the car and they're going through like the.
That is a nice screensaver.
That is.
Yeah. But yeah, next podcast is on my channel every Saturday. Tomorrow, the Angry Otter cannot make it. He is
Goldblum,
the land of angels.
Life
but I gotta fill in. Up and coming YouTuber, my boy Noximus will be joining.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Nox is great.
And we are going to dive into the topics as usual. It is gaming news with gameplay that you, the chat, will be able to vote on. Hint. Vote for Xbot. That's the way to go. But I had a blast, man. The chat was fire. The panel, again, another all-star panel, Mooch. How do you do it, man?
It's just, listen, I got news for you. Like I said, I had to book Don around 4th of July, but
he's a busy guy, man.
He really is. He really is. But no, awesome, Xbot. Thank you. And then I got Alan Walsh. Alan, not only did you inform people tonight and let people know about your passion in Forza, but I'm not kidding. At least 4 or 5 people in the chat now have said I'm buying the Ultimate Edition. So I mean that is just ridiculously amazing.
We've made Microsoft $200 to stream.
Yes, make sure you share that with Phil. Let him know Mooch sent you.
Right
absolutely.
Now, I should get a few codes.
I think you should. And Alan, you know the DM. Drop one in for God's sake.
Panel.
Yes, please.
It'd be great.
I like
anyways, you can my social media and Xbox Live is under the handle BeetleComet. The website is fullthrottlemedia.co.uk, and 2 things you should absolutely check out on there at the moment is my big in-depth Forza Horizon 4 preview from when I played the full game a few weeks ago, and also my interview with Ralph Fulton, which actually was my first ever video interview that I've ever done.
Very nice. Very cool, buddy. And guys, literally follow Alan. The next 2 weeks are going to be a plethora of information. I try everything Alan puts out, I retweet because it's just so much information.
I want to play Horizon 4 with him now, like when it drops, man. Hear his excitement and everything like that. And, I can't wait to play. And Alan, man, I hope we add each other on Xbox Live, dude.
No, totally. We'll have to get going with that shared world.
Everybody in this panel should share information. I totally agree. And then I got Senora Boombastic. Boom, your wife is probably like, enough podcasts. Nothing till Monday. You're going to be grounded and you're a retired cop. Listen, Boom, always good to have you, buddy. We love your input and your shows are doing great. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Well, real simple. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr. BoomstickXL. My DM is open. I do really enjoy speaking with the community. And, of course, you can check out my channel, Double Barrel Gaming on YouTube. I do two live shows a week. And you know what? Today's show has literally been on fire since it started. And I was so glad to be a part of it.
It really was, Boom, and I appreciate it. And last but certainly not least, the man himself, Crap Gamer. Crap, where can people find you this weekend?
Crap Gamer Reviews.
Awesome, guys. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell next to it. Going to be a lot more Mooch content coming up in October. And listen, guys, have fun this weekend. Enjoy gaming. And if you're in New York, enjoy the little bit of good weather we have left. Guys, enjoy the night. We'll see you next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Peace out.
Peace.